Self-care is way more than the bath bombs, the candles, the incense, the rose petals. It's way more than that.
Down, yeah. I've been feeling so down.
Hi everybody, I just wanted to say welcome to another video. Today is episode 5 of the series that I'm doing for international students in conjunction with Education Matters for their pre-departure orientation series, and I am so excited to be doing this. And today we're going to be talking about my favorite subject, which is self-care. In this video, I'm going to be covering the following topics: self-care explained, how does self-care relate to mental health, the different types of self-care that are out there, and I'm going to be also sprinkling in there some of my own self-care tips. College and university is a very exciting time, especially for international students like myself. It was so exciting. It was something new. It was something different. You're going to this new place, meeting new people, but it can also be filled with a lot of stress and pressure and anxiety. And for myself, I really enjoyed college. I really enjoyed my 4 years at my school, Earlham. But at some point during my freshman year, the only way I could ensure that I enjoyed my time in college was to make sure that I took time out for myself. I had to actually create this self-care routine in order to be able to take care of myself and my mental health. And so what is self-care? Self-care is basically having a plan to make sure that you're physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy. It can be in the form of intentional actions throughout the day, the week, or the month. They are necessary steps that you take that are intentional and that are built into your routine to make sure that you can function at your best. Self-care can either be in the form of a mood-boosting activity, something that raises your heart rate, like working out, playing a sport, or it can also be a relaxing activity like sitting in your bathtub, taking a bubble bath, reading a book. When you're in college, you're gonna have a busy schedule. You're gonna have a lot of assignments, a lot of catching up with friends to do, your job, just a lot of things that are in your schedule. The question is, how are you going to make sure that you do not get too overwhelmed or do not get too stressed? One way you could do this is by incorporating self-care activities into your either daily, weekly, or monthly routine. Please don't be like me. I waited until the very last minute when my life was in complete shambles to realize that I needed to actually practice self-care. Instead, start your self-care routine, start incorporating it right at the beginning. So you're a freshman or you're a transfer student, right when you get into school, get that planner. Make sure you're planning when you're doing those self-care activities and plan it within your actual schedule and your actual routine that you will be doing. So for example, pre-plan your favorite mood-boosting activity and maybe just jot down and be like, every Friday I play soccer with my friends at 4, or something that's very relaxing. Every Saturday I watch my favorite movie, or I listen to my favorite album, or I just meditate and just sit in silence. That could be a relaxing activity for some people. Now I'm going to talk about why self-care is important. Now there's such a big self-care revolution. It's important to know that it's more than just the bath bombs, the scented candles, and the face masks. It's more about making sure that you yourself are full. One way that I understood this was actually from one of my favorite interviews that I saw of Oprah Winfrey, where she talks about how she became full of herself, and not in the negative way. She realized that she needed, in order to be able to give to others, she needed to give to herself first. Like, you cannot give from an empty cup. if your cup is empty, how are you giving to others? And that's the one really good way that I can explain the importance of self-care. Like, some people might just be like, oh, that's just doozy, that's just people taking an excuse to be selfish, or to just be by themselves, and or an excuse to pamper yourself. You cannot give to others what you do not have. That's one way I can explain why self-care in college is so important, so critical. You have so many things that are expected of you that you have to do. And in order to do those, if you yourself, you are not feeling okay, you're not feeling happy, you are not in the right state of mind, how are you going to be able to perform? And so, always remember, you cannot give what you do not have. And you cannot give from an empty cup. That's my tip on why self-care is important. Now I'm going to talk about how self-care relates to mental health. And so self-care is those activities that we do to make sure that we are performing at our best, and that our mental health, our emotional health, and our physical health is well taken care of. When those mental health issues do arise, it's much easier to treat them because you have those practices in place already, rather than when you already do not have anything that you do for yourself to wind down or to relieve stress. It's much harder to be able to work through mental health issues when you do not even have any type of self-care within your schedule or routine. So now I'm actually going to talk about my favorite thing, which is the different types of self-care. Like I said already, self-care is more than just the bath bombs and the scented candles and the incense and the rose petals in the tub. I'm actually going to talk about, first of all, two different types of self-care that we were not aware of. So there is inner self-care and outer self-care. So inner self-care is more holistic and internal activities, things like journaling, meditating, taking a nap. Yes, I enjoy doing that. So spending maybe just an hour throughout of the day by yourself in silence, or just enjoying a meal by yourself. And then the second form of self-care is outer self-care. So things that reflect outside of us, helping someone else with a task for that day and being asking your friends, hey, do you need help with so-and-so? I am free. Stretching, running, spending time with friends that will not make you feel uneasy or judge you when you are trying to wind down. So now that I've talked about those two types of self-care, I'm going to go into detail of the 7 types of self-care under those two types. And those are sensory. Sensory is like smell, tasting, sight, so it could be in the form of cooking yourself a favorite meal. Reward. Reward is for workaholics like me. I would set up a reward system where if I completed my tasks for the day, I would give myself maybe an hour or 2 hours to explore the back campus at Earlham College. Mental, and this is in the form of doing something that's not a part of your routine. So it can be in the form of playing a new game, learning a new language, learning a new skill. And then there's spiritual self-care. So this can be in the form of going out to volunteer, taking your time out of your day to help others. It can be in the form of meditating on the word, if you are religious. It can also be in the form of just practicing and acknowledging things that you're grateful for, so gratitude. So that could be a form of spiritual self-care. The next is emotional, and I really struggled to understand what this really meant, but it means basically accepting your emotions. So knowing that, hey, something happened today, I was really upset by it, or I was really happy and I had to laugh out loud, or I had to cry. So accepting that you are human, you have those emotions. That's another form of self-care. The next form of self-care, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with this, is physical. So it can be in the form of going to the gym, dancing, running, walking, stretching. And then the last form of self-care is social self-care. Going out with friends and doing things that make you want to be social around those people. How I would explain this is in that phrase that we learned in preschool, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Work hard, play hard. That's how I would describe social self-care. And so now I'm going to talk about my self-care practices. So the first one is that I practice mindfulness. I would feel very overwhelmed at times. There would be so many deadlines and I would have so many commitments that I would have. And so I needed to intentionally go into my planner and be like, I am taking this 1 hour or this 30 minutes out of today to be able to go outside into nature or just outside somewhere where I can be by myself in silence and just being present and in the moment. And that has been very, very helpful. I tend to get lost out there in my thoughts and everything, but it's been a helpful form of self-care. The second form of self-care I would say I practice is meaningful interactions. People who know me know that you're not just gonna find me out there and about with everybody doing everything. I can only be around a large group of people for maybe 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes is pushing it. Like it becomes very overwhelming and like a lot of stimulation because like people are like socializing and you want to get to know them, but then there's also this person and that person and they're doing this. It's just a lot for me. And so for me, I'm more comfortable. I realized that I was more comfortable socializing in a smaller space with a smaller group of people. And so I would practice more meaningful interactions with people. And so actually going up to a person and be like, hey, do you want to have lunch on today at this time? Hey, do you want to go and play the sport? Hey, do you want to go swimming? Hey, do you want to take a walk back campus? Hey, do you want to do this? That for me really was a great way of self-care because I actually got to, first of all, get to know my friends better. I got to hang out with them without the extra stimulation of like so many other people. And yeah, I felt that I was able to actually manage that instead of trying to do everything. So my challenge to you when you come to the US is that get that planner, make that routine, organize your life, make sure you're putting your self-care activities in your schedule and making them a part of your daily, weekly, or monthly routine that you have. So that's my challenge to you. Incorporate those self-care activities into your daily life. Make sure that you're actually doing them so that when things do become tough or like, you know, you're facing these stresses, it's not like a once in a blue moon thing that you do be like, you know, actually maybe let me take a break. Because how can you pour from an empty cup? Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe, and please put comments down below if you have any questions or anything. I've had people reach out to me already, but if you have any questions or if you'd like to get talking, let's get talking in the comments below. And I also have put my information in the description box. Let's connect. Thank you so much for watching and see you all on Tuesday.
I might have caught the dream.